Hi everyone.
No. Hi, I'm Tess.
Hi, I'm Kayla.
If we didn't do that, they would be so mad. You were gonna
Would they?
do it. Yes.
Oh,
would you guys be upset? Let us know in the comments below. If you aren't familiar with our channel, my name
This
is
is beautiful Tess. Look at her, she's so pretty. So in case you're new to this channel, this is Tess and I'm Kayla.
and we are obviously in love. And we post new videos every single Wednesday, sometimes on the weekend. This has been a long-awaited video for most of you, and it has been for us too. As we've said in the past, we put out a video a very long time ago why we haven't made a coming out video. And we were gonna do separate videos, but this was kind of on a whim that we wanted to film this for you guys. Both of us are perfectionists and we want you guys.
I love this bobby pin, that's for sure.
I put a bobby pin on there earlier.
Later.
I did it later. We wanted this video to help you guys who might be struggling with something that we have gone through, and that is like a huge part of our platform here on this channel, is to help some of you maybe. We really wanted it to be perfect, and I think that's one of the reasons that we struggled and prolonged the process of putting this video out, but nothing is ever perfect. We want it to be super real. We don't want it to be planned out. Okay, why don't you go first?
I'm nervous too.
Love you.
Love you too.
What? Do you want me to go first? I'm
literally listening over here.
Guys, I don't sweat via my armpits. And I am sweating right now. So, I don't even know where to start. Oh my God, okay. When I was younger, I was basically taught that love had to be between a man and a woman, and that you grew up, you fell in love, you had a family, you got a job, and it was just this kind of cookie cutter life, I guess. And so I was taught to believe that that's what I wanted and that's what I should have in my life. And so once I got into school and started thinking about possibly dating people, I was always drawn to wanting to date a boy or a man. And oh my God, I'm so nervous. And like talking through this with Kayla, obviously things are more clear now as I'm older. I went into those relationships because that's how I felt that I needed to, like, that's
yourself.
Yeah, and like go down that path. But as Kayla and I talk and kind of like figure out like how we got to where we are today, I realize now that like all throughout school, even if I was dating a boy or I was like in a relationship or something, I was always, you know, looking at the same sex. And to me, it always felt like I was envying them, and I just like wanted to be their friend, or I wanted to be them, or I liked their physique because like I wanted that. And now it's me like realizing like I really like that. I see that as beautiful. Not that I don't see the male figure as beautiful, I just see everyone as their personality, and I love them for who they are. I just found out as I got older that I was more so attracted to the same sex than I am to the opposite sex. And I can just feel that and see that even more as I've gotten older, and now I'm at the ripe age of 27, and it's just so much more clear when it wasn't when I was younger, because my view of the world was kind of, I had blinders on, or it was like grayed out. Like I had to see the world in this way because I was taught to see it in this way. And I never got to like experience or see the same sex in the way that I wanted to, rather than the way that I was taught to, if that makes sense. So when I was younger, well, I was playing hide and seek with a friend with like a bunch of other little kids, because we were like basically babysitting them. It was our turn to seek and the kids' turn to hide. And so my friend and I, instead of seeking, hid as well, and we hid in her attic space, and I suggested practicing kissing for boys.
So for me, my upbringing was very much the same as Tess's, where homosexuality was frowned upon, and thinking now, I feel very misunderstood back then, even now. I was told that it was wrong as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had these expectations for myself from my family to grow up and get married to a man and have children and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
So,
which even in the heterosexual world, that's not even the case. Sorry.
Hashtag divorce.
Hashtag homosexual relationships have a way less divorce rate.
Hashtag where did she go?
We probably should also put out there that we were both brought up with a religious background too, so that had a lot to do with our upbringing.
A Catholic religious background.
Yes.
Whether it was consciously or not, I think my whole thing started back in like elementary school.
I remember.
What?
I know the story you're gonna tell.
What?
Nothing. I'm not
I just remember having a lot of crushes, I guess, on my female student teachers.
Yeah.
I would go out of my way to like give them a hug before I leave, and I was just very like fascinated with them.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Yeah. I felt like mine was more so like envy, and now realizing it was just like attractiveness. I always thought it was just like envy, and I was just this huge jealous person.
So like that started, the earliest I can remember was like 3rd grade. I got called a dyke, and I was like, what the heck is that? Because little Kayla knew nothing and was so innocent at age whatever that is, 10, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found out what that was, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Why would you say that?
Okay.
I tried to have a boyfriend in elementary school, but my dad wouldn't let me. So from elementary school to like 17, 18, maybe a little after, I was with boys or men. Around that time, I started being with women, girls or women.
Getting into dating and like actually,
dating scene.
yeah, teenage dating into like young 20s basically. Kayla and I laugh about this all the time. Like I had been met with men like my whole young adult life, and I never wanted to kiss any of the people that I was with if they were male. Like I would go out of my way to like move in a particular position, or like, you know, we would get straight into everything before like kissing them, because it was just so like, it was awful to me. And facial hair, like hated everything about it. Oh my God, I hated it so much. And now being with Kayla, I would freaking love kissing, and I want to kiss her all the freaking time.
Very true.
In my teen years, basically junior in college or in high school, I was in a relationship for 2.5 years, and towards the end of that relationship, went off to college, and I ended that abruptly. Then I didn't really know why. I just knew that I did not see my future with that person, and now I know why. But again, I got into another very long, horrible relationship. I learned a lot of things from it, I will say that. So that was good for me, but it was very toxic, and it was just not a good relationship. And this relationship I'm talking about was, again, with the opposite sex. And in between our on and off, like breaking up and getting back together, I experimented, and I met Kayla during that time. Before having met Kayla, that's me. I had been with probably a few women. You know, it wasn't ever like something that I thought that I wanted until I met Kayla. And I was just blown away, and I was kind of like, you know, I really like this person. I love everything about her. I thought she was the hottest, beautiful being on this planet when she walked through my door. Like everything about her I loved, and that like made my mind go insane. And I was like, I've never felt this. What do I do? I went off to study abroad, and my brother passed away, and Kayla and I had been dating for how long? A month? And everything was great and dandy. Yeah, my brother passed, and I like, my mind just went in this like, I don't know what happened. I broke up with Kayla, and I went running back to like my old lifestyle and who I was, because that's all I knew, because that's what I knew before Corey died. And I needed that comfort to feel like everything was okay. A very long time passed, and Kayla and I, you know, like we never got back together until 3 years ago, but we were on and off for a very long time talking and possibly thinking about being with each other and flying out to see one another, because we lived in separate states. And you know, it was just this up and down with like just our relationship. Like I remember like being with men and crying to them about how much I loved Kayla and wanted to be with her. Like I was with this male, and I was crying to him about how much I wanted to be with this female, and like, God bless those men for, you know, like sticking by me because I was a wreck. It was just an up and down of like just not knowing who I was and what I wanted for a good 2+ years, until finally I was like, F it, I love her. I'm not gonna let anything else like hinder that and stop it. Like we need to figure this out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but we need to try it, because I've been, you know, thinking this way and feeling this way for so long, and if I don't try it, I'm gonna regret it. So yeah, here I am, here we are.
All right, so back to my story.
Yeah.
So in high school, I had tons of crushes on females.
But you knew it, whereas opposed to I was just like, oh, she's really pretty. Oh, I love her butt. She has nice legs.
Maybe in like a way, I still knew it. I knew it more obviously than I did in like elementary school, but I think I was still a bit in denial about that because of the way I was raised. I actually, at one point, was homophobic, believe it or not. Like I bashed gay people as I was taught to, which is a horrific thing to think about, but that's what happened.
Recently you've apologized to those people.
Yeah, sure have. So there was a clear sign of denial there. But then, you know, I got a little bit older, like basically end of high school, I started being with women, and that was like, I was just so interested, you know what I mean? Like it was just so much more of a connection and like, yeah, exciting than with men. I'm not crying. I think my biggest thing was just like being in denial about it for a little bit. So basically what I'm saying is I don't have something like Tess's elaborate back and forth struggle. It kind of just went from like being in some denial and kind of jumping right into it and being like, okay, this is the thing.
And here I am.
And here I am. Also, something to contribute, when I was about 10 years old, did want to be a boy. So that contributes.
She wanted to be called Kevin.
Yeah.
Not everybody's, you know, story is the same, and like we all go through struggles, but they might not be the same. They might be completely different.
I had just gotten broken up with. I was in a relationship with a woman, and I think I was 19 years old at the time. I might have been 18, but I feel like it was 19. I figured I would pursue another relationship later down the line with a woman, so there's kind of like no point of not opening up to my parents anymore. Like I thought it was, you know, real enough and not just kind of like a phase. Scariest day of my entire life. I usually sweat profusely. I was shaking. I had a backpack full of things packed because I was anticipating being kicked out. Well, actually, I should preface this with the fact that my mother knew prior to my like coming out to both my parents. So my mom knew for a little bit and she kind of like begged me not to tell my dad, but I basically told her I was gonna tell him anyway. I sat them both down.
She knew because you told her?
Probably, we probably talked about it, but I don't know. So I sat them both down and they knew who my ex was because she was around the house as like a friend often. And, oh, I'm sorry. I think my mom knew because that friend had stayed over one night and she found us on the couch downstairs in the basement cuddling because we were sleeping.
Yes, I remember you telling me about this.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, so I sat them down and basically told them that my friend wasn't just my friend. Like we were in a relationship. Obviously we were not anymore at that time. So I said we were in a relationship and couldn't really get out much else because there was a lot of yelling and bashing, if you will. A lot of,
okay?
No. So there were just a lot of hateful things said. My mom kind of just cried the whole time. She didn't really have much to say, but this was via my dad. But apparently he knew too, because he kind of just like looked to my mom and was basically like, I told you. That went on for a little bit. And then I basically told them I was gonna stay with my best friend at the time, just for a few days so we can like, I don't know,
cool down.
Basically, yeah, like cool down, have time to think about stuff and whatever. So I stayed with her for like, I think it was like a night, and then I went back that day. We just kind of like swept it under the rug. They kind of hoped that it would change over the years. Yeah, they kind of just hoped it would maybe like fade out, or I would just like take their warnings and their words seriously and it would just turn around. And during that time I did try again to be involved with a male. I was kind of just like over like pretending and stuff like that. So, and then I got together with Tess, and for the second time, because obviously we just told you we were together twice, because one time we broke up. So we were contemplating moving, getting more serious. Tess and I were flying back and forth to see each other at the time that we were like talking and kind of like working things out while we were not officially together. So my parents were like very curious as to who this person was. Before Tess and I like decided we were gonna move in together, I was questioned again, who Tess was. And so basically that's when I kind of came out a second time. And once that was out in the open, that Tess was not just my friend, I kind of did get kicked out. So basically I was just finishing school, so like I got kicked out like after school was done. So it was kind of more of an incentive just to like expedite the process of like moving in, and I kind of wanted to leave New York anyway for quite some time before that. So yeah, then we found Milwaukee and
We're here.
here we are.
My turn. For the longest time, I feel like I tried to block this out of my head and kind of forget about it, because until recently I just like approached my mother about this topic, and I kind of just I feel like I do that a lot. I kind of don't address my emotions, and so I can't really remember how I led up to the point of, you know, wanting to come out to my parents, other than the fact that Kayla and I had been together we were together for six months.
Yeah. We came out in June.
Yeah.
We got together in April. So 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
Clearly I was very in love.
Well, I mean, we like knew each other this whole time.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was just like, oh, I'm jumping right into this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, obviously I was with other people and I was still in love with her. So the fact that we got together and after 2 months, I wanted to tell the world and didn't want to hide it anymore. I guess I felt like it was a long time coming, and like, even though obviously I had buried my feelings for so long, it just felt like forever, and I was just like hiding for so long, and I'm not the kind of person to like hide who I am. Like now, like knowing who I am, I don't care to like keep things behind closed doors for other people. Like if you don't like me for me, then sorry.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. We had been dating, and I mean, that was when like Facebook was huge. And I was very big, you know, on like just wanting to share my life, because like I loved this person so much, and I wanted everybody to know that this person made me feel amazing, and I was head over heels. There was no pressure from Kayla to come out. Like she was ready whenever I was ready, and I wanted her to be there. Once I realized that I wanted to tell my parents, I was like, okay, I know exactly what I'm gonna say. You're gonna be there with me and it's gonna be great. And then once it happened and it came time that I was gonna tell my parents, I almost chickened out and wasn't gonna do it.
Yep.
Weren't you in town to go to Pride with me?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, because we were going back to my apartment in the city and we were gonna go to Chicago Pride.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So.
'Tis the season then, I guess. Kayla had known my parents knew her just from like her flying back and forth to like, you know, come and hang out, up until the night that I told them Kayla was my friend. So Kayla was coming with me to show them that she wasn't. And I think we had dinner with my parents. And then we were gonna leave right after I came out, because I was like, can't stay here. It's gonna be really awkward in the morning. So I think like Kayla had went to the bathroom or something, and like I followed her and I was like, let's just go. So nervous. I was so nervous. Like my heart was pounding. I was like creeping around my parents for the longest time, like trying to figure out how to like be like, hey, can I talk to you? Like, oh, it was so awkward. I was so awkward. Finally, I was like, can we sit down and chat, you know, like before we leave? And I mean, my parents are very like the sweetest people ever. The way I imagined it was just like sitting across from them and Kayla and I basically like holding hands and like it being this beautiful thing. And it wasn't. Kayla and I were literally like the farthest apart. Like I thought she was on a whole other island because we were nowhere near each other.
We weren't that far apart. We were
Oh,
probably
2 seat cushions apart on a couch, basically.
probably like right here. That's not that far.
That was far from me. Yeah, I just remember sitting there in silence for like a while. Like I can't even like,
You said, so we want to let you, like I want to let you know that like we're together. Like we're in a relationship.
we're dating. Maybe I was crying after that. I just know that I was crying and I was curled up in a little ball on the couch.
I think you cried afterward, like in the middle of everything.
Yeah, like a little kid. Like I was just like, just not confident about it at all, which like I think to them made them feel like it was kind of like forced on by Kayla, because Kayla was sitting there all confident and like upright and I'm sitting there all hunched over.
Supporting the
like,
weight of the two.
well, like I was just crying. It was the scariest thing that I ever had to do in my entire life. I was always like the kid in the family who did like everything my parents wanted. I was all of a sudden not doing that. And it was so hard for me to like be able to tell them that. So it's still like, it's a scary thing. Like, I don't know. It's hard.
You thought you were disappointed in.
Yeah, it's like, I had never like done that unless like I intentionally did it, like as a kid, like sneaking out of the house or whatever,
right.
You know? And then it was like not intentional, and like I couldn't help who I was, and I needed to let them know who I was. So my dad was, they're
Not surprised.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, well, you know, maybe we kind of knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweetest guy ever.
Yeah.
Like, so nice.
Yeah. Just kind of kept repeating the fact that, like, you know, we love you no matter what, but we don't agree with what you're doing or whatever. My mom was just crying the whole time. And my mom and I like bonded over everything. No, it's okay. Through my like young adult life, and I would tell her everything about like relationships and sex, and like she was my best friend, and I know she felt like I was just lying to her because it was kind of like so out of the blue. And Kayla and I, it was obvious that like we were something for as long as we were, and like she had known my parents, and like that we were basically lying to them the whole time, and my mom and I just didn't do that. So I know she was so hurt, and I know she still is. And I was so in this mindset that I wasn't gonna apologize for who I was, and that made our relationship kind of like fall apart. And until recently, I never got the courage to like reach out to her and like let her know how I was feeling, because both of us, like in Kayla's relationship, we just, with her parents, kind of like swept everything under the rug, and like they accepted Kayla to like come over and like come to family functions, and they were so graceful about everything, except we just never talked about it. And the fact that we never talked about it is just hurting our relationship even more. And so until recently, I wrote her this letter just kind of stating the fact that I wanted a relationship with her, and I didn't want to be in an older age and regret not trying to have a relationship with her and wanting to be close again. And I know it's so hard for her, because I wasn't only brought up to believe like that a relationship is between a man and a woman, like she was too, and she's older than I am. So believing that for so long, and then feeling like you lost a part of, you know, your life after losing one of your other kids, I can imagine is so hard. And I wanted to tell them earlier. I wanted to tell them years before that, when Corey died. But after Corey died, like I didn't want to put any more pressure on like everything that was going on, so I kept it to myself, which hurt me even more. But like I was protecting them, and I don't know, I want a relationship with her. And you know, they say when you come out, like it's not the last time you're ever gonna come out, you're gonna be coming out for the rest of your life. And it sure as hell feels like that. Like it is so scary to go home and to not feel like you can be yourself.
You're not alone.
I know. Hopefully some of you can learn from this or like relate. And I'm sorry that it's so emotional, but there's just a lot coming up that, you know, I've never talked about, because some of us are damaged. So okay, I'm good, it's fine. I don't know if I missed anything, but oh, wow, I didn't know that that was gonna happen.
Basically, we really just want to let everyone know who might be struggling with this. It is a super, super hard thing to do, and many, many people have described it as the hardest thing they've ever had to do, and probably will ever have to do. But it is definitely worth it to feel that freedom of knowing like you're being yourself. Hopefully you do have people that are there for you and accept you as who you are. You can seek guidance for that. There's so many things that you can do if you're struggling to help yourself.
The internet is
Accept yourself more. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, that's why we do what we do, but that's why so many people on the internet share their stories so they could possibly help somebody out there get through what they're getting through. And that's part of the reason I was able to like get to where I am today, because of so many people on the internet who helped me and didn't even realize that they were. What I love about this community is that everyone is so accepting and everyone is there for each other when they don't even know each other. And it's just a beautiful community. And if you are struggling and you're watching this video and feeling like you have nobody, like, even if you're not ready to come out, like, we're all here for you. Like, that's what we're here for, and that's why so many creators are doing what they're doing, because they want to be there for you. And this community is unbelievably amazing.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just happy right now. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. That's a good way to end it, babe. Good job.
So we were gonna put out a vlog that'll just go out, you know, on our next video, but in honor of Pride, we wanted to do this for you guys. And I'm so happy that it was on a whim, because if it was planned, this probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, probably not. We are going to link some resources in the comments below if you are struggling and you just need some help, you need somebody to be inspired by or talk to. We just want to help you out and help you to be comfortable with who you are, because it's hard.
Yeah. If you are thinking of coming out, happy Pride. It's the perfect time to do it. If you're not and you're still struggling with everything, it's okay. It gets better. And don't come out until you're ready. Don't let other people force you to come out. And if you are going to come out, please make sure that you're safe. It's a hard journey, but once you get on the other side, it's really beautiful.
So we hope you liked this video a lot,
and we love you guys so much. If you're new to this channel and you want to see more of our videos, there are some links down below.
And please go ahead and subscribe if you liked this.
And hit the notification bell, because we put out new videos every single Wednesday. That's all for now. We love you guys so much, and we will see you in our next video.
Bye.
Bye.